Hi, Julian DeRosier here from the IIF, International Investment Forum. We're live from Mining Indaba 2022 in Cape Town, South Africa. I am joined by Alasdair Smith, CEO of Alpha Exploration, or not CEO, actually technical advisor, am I right?
Correct, technical director.
So that's great to hear, because that mainly means that all your executives are busy out there, and maybe one of the reasons for that is that we can finally meet in person.
Excellent. Well, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too, because it's been 2 years, a little hard, and finally we can end the Zoom calls and talk directly to investors, directly between us, and I think this is very, very refreshing.
Very happy to do it.
So, Alasdair, tell us a bit about Alpha Exploration. In which commodity are you?
Right. Well, it's changing almost by the day. What's happened is we've made 3 very good discoveries. One is a porphyry copper gold. One is an orogenic gold, and the other is a volcanogenic massive sulfide. So that has copper, zinc, and gold. So we're in those commodities at the moment.
It seems to be good commodities to be in right now.
Yes, we're very happy about that too.
And so, in which state of development is your project right now?
Reasonably early stage. We have drill strikes, first pass drill programs on 2 of the prospects, and on the 3rd one we're in our 3rd phase of drilling. But that's the porphyry, and these are generally very large, and they take a lot of time and resources and money to develop. So
absolutely,
that's the harder one, potentially the bigger prize. The other 2, we've just got onto them. We made announcements just before the Indaba conference on the orogenic gold. The VMS, we've hit massive sulfides. We expect the assays for that in about 2 weeks' time.
Well, this sounds exciting, but for everyone who doesn't maybe know too much of your company yet, where are you located?
We're Eritrea, in southwest Eritrea, and Eritrea is a jurisdiction that not too much is known about, but I've actually been working there since 2000, all but 4 years through to now, so 18 of the last 22 years I've been working there, and I've been involved in a number of discoveries, and one that's gone on to be a mine and is, going very well at the moment, the Zara gold mine, yeah.
Great, and so we're here also to discuss with potential investors and people that want to put their eyes on Africa. They might not even know where this country is. Where is it located in Africa?
It's immediately north of Ethiopia, and it's got Sudan on the west, and just around the top of it, and then Egypt is immediately north of that. So it's got the border on the Red Sea.
Exactly. That's important to know, obviously, for obvious reason of producing those zinc and those copper,
correct,
transportation and so on. And what about the political landscape?
Well, for me, one of the things as an explorer, an exploration geologist, is I need sort of stability, because the time frame between making a discovery, setting up a company, being lucky enough to make a discovery, bringing it through development to the end of a feasibility. If you're lucky, you're talking about 7 years.
If you're very lucky,
If you're lucky, right? And so one of the most important things on going into these jurisdictions is to have stability in the Mining Act, as well as just geopolitically around you. And if you look at the region, the Arabian-Nubian Shield is what I'm talking about, then if you look at that jurisdiction, there's really only been a handful of Tier 1 deposits found in the last 100 years. Now, if you look at the size of the Shield area compared to, say, the Canadian Shield, yep, or the West Australian Shield, which have hundreds of deposits and quite a few Tier 1, then this place has suffered from lack of modern exploration and investment. Well, if you're going to go anywhere in the Arabian-Nubian Shield up to date, actually Eritrea has been the place to go, and that's evidenced by the fact that there's one very good deposit in Egypt that's been brought to account, Sukari.
Yep.
You have the old historical Hassai mine in the Sudan, no modern mine there. Ethiopia's had an enormous amount of investment, and no modern mine's been brought to account. In the same time, in Eritrea, you've got 2 operating mines. One of them is world-class, the Bisha VMS. You have the Zara orogenic gold mine that I was involved in the discovery of. You have 2 other permitted mines ready to go that are being built now. One is the Asmara mining project, which is 4 deposits, and then you have the potash deposit, which is a world-class potash deposit called Kaluli, owned by Danakali, down in the southeast on the Red Sea. So The sort of advantage that I see is that politically, although Eritrea has a very bad image from the West, the way it views it, it's absolutely stable to be able to carry out exploration and mining. I'm talking to the same Director General for Mines right now in terms of what I do and how I execute programs that I met that was the Director General of Mines in 2000. So very stable jurisdiction, which is great if you want to bring on exploration projects to mining.
Absolutely. And this seems to be really something that echoed throughout a lot of CEOs, a lot of executives, a lot of mining services company all around, is that basically there is, and this is what attracts us to South Africa, is to be able to present maybe a little more and break a little of this image that maybe is from a previous time that does not apply anymore.
Yes, absolutely. Like I could be operating Alpha Exploration from London or Sydney. Absolutely, I can do that if I want to. I choose to live in Eritrea, and that's what I do, and I've lived there for 18 in the last 22 years because it's extremely safe, fantastic geology, the culture, the history, the people. It's a really, really good place to live. And I happen to, have a skill set that is also applicable to the country, which is to try and find mines. So, yeah, why would I be elsewhere? And I've worked in many other parts of Africa and in Australia as well, and I choose to come back. This is my third life in Eritrea in terms of companies I've built up and worked with.
And this is great to hear, because basically that means experience, but apart from experience and the local experience, it also means that you're implicated in the community, that you see the community, and that you see community involvement with very different eyes than, if you were working from London.
Absolutely right, and it makes us as a company very efficient and effective that the technical director is sitting in country managing the day-to-day operations, and so that's a real advantage for us, a point of difference between us and maybe some other explorers within the Africa region. But also, the other thing that's important, not just the political stability, but the Mining Act has really largely unchanged since 1995. Again, and that's based upon the West Australian Mining Act. And what's happened is you've actually got a really good case study with the Bisha VMS mine, discovered in 2003, started mining in 2011. They made superb, and that was brought in on budget, on time, and then they were able to monetize, all of that. They expatriated a lot of their money, and they were able to invest without raising any other funds. They just used their revenue from the Bisha mine to invest in Serbia and the Timok mine, and they exited. They sold the Bisha mine to Zinjan Mining, who are continuing it now, for about 1.8 billion. So, there's a good case study of what you can do in Eritrea.
Exactly. So you got quite a few, I call them STEM cases, study cases, no matter how you want to call them, basically that prove to investors that there is a way to do business, there is a way to do business in a sustainable way, and by that I mean on long-term investment, on long-term forecast, on political landscape, forecast on the Mining Act, as you said, and I think that those are key points and key elements when you want to look at a new frontier where you want to start putting money in. Those are ingredients you need.
Absolutely right. The other thing that is important in that aspect is that Eritrea is a country that actively discourages any kind of corruption. So if you get involved in corruption in Eritrea, you are kicked out of the country. For me, having worked in other parts of Africa, where it's sort of seen essentially almost as another tax, in Eritrea they will not tolerate it. Well, that's great for me in terms of stability and where I know what I'm going to do.
I think a lot of viewers, no matter where they are in the world, would agree with you that they need also that at home everywhere.
Sure,
I mean, it's a problem that is not just African, it's everywhere.
I was surprised when I got there. I was expecting to encounter the same issues I had in the other jurisdictions I worked in. It is not there, and it's actively discouraged, which I find great as a person setting up a company, establishing it. That's not to say there aren't, some things aren't slow and happening, and, they have sanctions on them at various times over the years, and logistically things can be, a bit slow, but you're not dealing with that kind of issue.
Well, this sounds encouraging for everyone that wants to have a closer look at Alpha Exploration. And maybe, Alasdair, if you can tell us a bit of your share structure, where you're at, cash on hand, what's happening with the roadmap for the next 6-8 months.
Well, essentially what we're trying to do now is we've got these 3 discoveries. They're at a fairly early stage, but they have the potential to be reasonable size. So they're going to suck up a lot of funds over the next 12 months. We're looking to raise $5 million right now, and that will give us about 20,000 metres of drilling. That will be allocated between the 3 main prospects I've been talking about, and it will be an iterative process. So we'll do a first phase fairly quickly. Results are positive, we put more in. If they're negative on one, we put that on hold, we put more into another. So we're a very reactive and iterative process that will go on. And so we need to raise 5 million. We're in the process of doing that now. We've closed the first tranche at about 1.4, and we're looking to raise the next the remaining tranche over about the next 3 to 4 weeks.
And where are you traded currently?
On the TSXV, under the ticker ALEX, ALEX.
Any secondary listing, Germany, Frankfurt, or?
Well, that's something that we are open to, and that will depend very much upon where we're going to get support, financial support. So, we believe that the Canadian market was good for us to go into initially, because Nevsun, that had that Bisha deposit I talked about, was on the Canadian market. So there's an understanding there of Eritrea. So that made sense for us to go there initially. But where we go after that, if we do a dual listing, will actually depend upon where we get support.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great story you told. I think it's an early stage. I think it's still blue sky. I think there are 3 very interesting deposits. As you said, in an underexplored, proven belt, because it is proven, and that's very important to tell. Alasdair, I want to thank you very much for your time. I'm very happy that we had a chance to meet, that you had a chance to present Alpha Exploration to possible investors or everyone that want to look and be interested in your company. Where can they find more information? Website address?
Yes, it's Alpha. alphaexploration.com, basically. So if you look at that, you'll pick us up. But under ALEX, ALEX on the TSXV also, and that can direct you to the site.
Perfect.
Okay.
Alasdair, thank you very much
for your
time.
Okay, cheers.